All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It is Friday, October 23rd, 2020. I'm Jeff Gargis with the Teach Better team. I got the man, the myth, the I created the grid method guy, Chad Ostrowski with me. We've got a pretty cool partnership that we're doing some work with that we want to share with you. So we're going to do that in just a couple seconds. I keep thinking that I'm gonna get sick and tired of that song, but I don't.
Yeah,
It just hasn't happened yet. Now that I said that, it's gonna happen, but
it's pretty amazing. I feel the same way. I really do, honestly.
That's good. I'm glad you do. So it's Friday. It's 8 a.m. Eastern time. How you feeling, brother?
I'm feeling pretty good, man. I get to go do a workshop like right after this via Zoom, so like that's pretty exciting. And
Nice.
I'm also excited about what we get to talk about this morning because it's been a long time coming, and we finally get to kind of put this thing together. So I'm excited to announce it to everybody.
Yeah. So if I were to ask you, I don't want to say the most common because it's definitely one of the top three, if not one of the most common. Like this is one of the most common questions we get when it comes to the grid method. So outside of like, do I have to do it exactly like you? Will this work in my classroom? Will this work with my students? Will this work with my content or my blah blah XYZ? Which are common questions with the grid method. What's one of the most I hope you know where I'm going. What's one of the most common other things that we get asked this all the time? It's one of the most common suggestions we also get with training. It's like usually the only thing anyone could say bad about you. And I like it because it's not really saying anything bad about you, but they're like, hey, it would be nice if this.
Yeah.
What would that be? What would that be in your
universally, head? For the last 6 years or however long we've been doing this, the number one question has always been, hey, like, is there a place I can go where like there's just a bunch of grids? Is there a grid library? Do you have more examples? Like, no one has ever been happy with the number of examples they are provided. And like, it's this universal thing. And I know where it comes from, especially when you're first starting to make grids. You just want to see as many examples as possible because you're
Absolutely.
like, how do they do this? How do they do that? What does it look like in my grade level? What does it look like in my subject? And so teachers really want to see that. And it's less about like, I need to use these other grids. Like, first the idea is like I want to just use everyone else's grids, and then they realize that maybe that's not a great idea. But then the next level of that question is, I just want to see how this is utilized in other areas and other grade levels and how it's executed. So by far, to answer your question, the number one request that we get is, where can I see more examples? Where can I see other people's grids? For sure.
And that's what we got going on right now. So we have teamed up with the awesome crew over at Education Blueprint. So we've got educationblueprint.org. And if you don't know what Education Blueprint is, it's more than just grids. It is a online sharing platform for teachers. It's 100% free. They're a nonprofit. They have zero interest in bringing any revenue in from this. It's 100% free. They believe in sharing. It is a place where you can go. You can sign up really quick with your email or through your Gmail sign up. It's super easy to sign in, and you can immediately start sharing and or consuming. And what we've done with them is they reached out to us, and we were all for it. And they have a section that's just grids. So like when you go there, one of the search categories you have is grids. So it's just going to be grids. You can then sort by grade level, by subject and category stuff, by the average reviews, if it aligns to Common Core. You can really get in the future plans are more categories, more different ways to sort, stuff like that. So one of the things that we're doing is we're working with them, one, because it's already getting some grids on, it's already a place to share, but we're also asking everyone to go put their grids there so that you can share this, because it's a place that allows us now to work at someone. They're very dedicated. Kelly and Nicole and Lauren and team they wanted to do this. They believe in the grid method. They believe in the power of it, and they want a place for. Honestly, I think they want a place where they can go get grids, which is awesome. So, and that's what it is. So if you go to educationblueprint.org, it's a free sign up, and I'm gonna put that up on the ticker there down at the bottom. But I think what's awesome is, I mean, for us, what's awesome is this is something that we wanted to build, but we just haven't been able to put together in a way that we
started and kind of do it so many times.
It just wasn't the way that we wanted to. We kept feeling like it wasn't what we were envisioning and not happening. And when we came across them, we started talking. Actually, Kelly was on the on Teach Better Talk podcast, and we talked through it, and we kind of looked at him like, oh, like that's kind of like what we sort of thought it would look like in a way. And then she says, hey, I want to have a section that's just grids. And we're like, that's what we were thinking. That's really cool. And I love the fact that it's embedded within, it's not just grids, right? It's anything you need. So they have apps on there. You can go search for apps. You can go search for different activities. You can search for websites, for research papers, for books, and then for just general resources. So there's going to be a lot of stuff there. It's, so I'm looking at things coming in there. Kaplan's in the house. What's up, Kaplan? Lydia's here. Kelly is here. Who else is here? Kate's here. Sorry, I felt like I needed to stop for a second saying hi because we weren't doing good at that.
Yeah, that's
and Kelly's here sharing that as well. Education Blueprint. So I think one of the cool things about this is that it's all going to be generated and put together by the community because it's all a sharing platform. Yeah. And what really strikes me, Chad, and I've been saying this a lot more recently. But you know, the whole idea of Teach Better, you know, from the very beginning, you always said you didn't want to walk into a classroom and say, you're not doing this right, you're not a good teacher, this is how you do it. You wanted to say, hey, this helped me, maybe it can help you teach better, right? And one of the other things you always said alongside of that is, for every problem there is in a classroom anywhere in the world, there's a solution in some other classroom somewhere. We just have to share it. That's what these amazing educators, what they're trying to do with Education Blueprint is provide a space where we can all go and share what's working for us. Resources, books, apps, things like that. And that, I just think it aligns so much with what we're doing. So we decided to partner with them to help them really build that grid library out. It is continuing to grow. It's going to continue to grow. If you're watching it, utilize the grid method. Definitely want you to go and add as many grids as you can there so that you can continue sharing with other people as well. The team is working with them to help add more and more. So we're super excited about it. Not to mention that they're just great educators, good people trying to do something good. Yeah. It actually came out of their research for the doctorate, which is really cool too. So it was like this organic thing that came for them. I'm super excited about it. So Chad, what are your thoughts in general on all this? As someone who, you know, you do the primary bulk of our grid method training. So you hear this all the time. I'm curious your excitement of having this now at your fingertips when someone asks.
I'm ridiculously excited about the organic nature of it, right? Like, so I think what I never wanted to be personally, I never wanted to Teach Better to be a curriculum company. I never wanted to like pump out like, this is what we think the best second grade fractions grid looks like, right? Because then we're sort of putting teachers into like this box.
Yes.
Which is ironic that I would say it like that. But
we're like putting them in a grid?
Yeah. So we're just gridding them into a corner. So we're getting to this point where like we're kind of we're taking away some of their choice, and that's something we've literally since day one never wanted to do. And I feel like this is a really great way to provide a universal resource as it grows, even where teachers can go and see that example that they need to see. And we have some examples on our Facebook page that are not necessarily organized. And it's still really useful, and I'm very glad that people shared them. But this is like really organized in a way that's going to be much more obtainable for someone who's just starting this process, who's like, I just want to see an elementary grid. They can look for that, and it's right there, and it's categorized. There's also like connection features, right? Like, so you can message the person that posted the grid if you want. So there's like social features of the site as well, which is really cool because we already have an amazing network of teachers that like to communicate and talk to one another. and having the ability to just shoot one of them a message and go, hey, what were you doing in level 1 of this grid? Like, that's a really cool feature that can directly talk about those pieces. So I love the fact that everyone can have their own accounts as well. So you create your own account, you can post your own grids. So it is in its infancy as well, right? So like, there's not like a million grids on there today. The hope is, though, as we announce this, all of our amazing Teach Better Network, our ambassadors and everyone else will go there, create accounts. And then if we have our community kind of really rally around this as a place to go for these resources, I'm absolutely stoked just to have this as a resource and a place for people.
By the way.
Nice. So there's some social studies grids coming your way, everybody. Georgia State Standards or Common Core, I think they are. But
and Chad, you touched on something really cool. I don't mean to interrupt. I already interrupted you at this point, so I apologize. But okay. We both know I'm not really sorry. Is the social aspect of it, because you can comment, you can message, but you can literally follow someone. So if like, let's throw a random name out. If Amanda Post, who's a grid rock star, just happens to post a grid and you're like, man, I really like the way she organized that.
Or you can follow her so that,
now you can follow her so you see that. And you're going to see not only her grids, but if she shares anything else, which is going to work for your elementary kids, you can follow those people. You can also you can collect them and build collections. So you can build yourself like a little portfolio, and then you can always go back, reference it, re-download if you need to, things like that. So, so the following, that's what Livia is talking about right now, I think is a really, really cool feature. Chad, you talked about like the messaging. So you can ask a question like, hey, I really like this. I think I'm going to use it, but I'm confused about this. Like, how can I do that? And then I'm looking at that, go, okay, great. Now we're connecting. So now potentially we're collaborating with people that we may not have been connected to. So Chad already kind of touched on it, that, we're really hoping you, our awesome community, anyone who utilizes the grid method, if you've shared one inside the Facebook group or anywhere else, we really want you to go in there and share it on there so we have them there. We can still absolutely keep sharing them in the Facebook group. Absolutely. Like there's nothing wrong with that. But we really want to get them over here on the Education Blueprint, because we really think it's going to be a place that we're going to be driving people to, and sharing with people. And I think it's going to become a really, really good resource for a lot of grid method teachers, and for Chad. I think for sure.
Definitely.
So this is sort of connected, not really. Now I'm just interested, so I'm talking to you. You've got a workshop today that's over Zoom. I'm curious, so that everyone else could hear, how we've been doing these all summer long, really since June we started doing the virtual workshops, and we do them a couple different ways and stuff. How's that going? Like, how is it working for you? Right? I mean, we talked to a lot of teachers about how that stuff going, but I don't know if we've ever sat like live here and talked about like, how's our work going virtually? Is it working? I hope it is.
Yeah, it's going awful. I haven't told you. No, I'm just joking.
Everyone hates it.
So many partner schools. I'm just joking.
Chad, come on, dude.
It's absolutely been going absolutely fantastic. In fact, it's giving teachers a little bit more say. We are one of our partner schools. They have some teachers that are, high risk and not comfortable doing in person. So like they were able to have the choice of if am I going to come to your school and are you going to gather in a room, or do you want to do this over Zoom? And I was able to literally give them an option. So some schools, depending on where they are and what their situations are, this is giving a ton more freedom and options for all of our schools and all of our teachers. Another amazing thing about Zoom is that, or digital PD, is that it can be spread out much easier. So instead of having to do it all in one day because I traveled on a plane and a train and an automobile to get to where I need to be and stayed at a hotel, now we have to do it in 1 or 2 days right after each other. Well, with Zoom, like those things aren't limitations. So I can split up a training or a workshop over 4 days instead of 2. We can look at hours instead of like days and make it much more flexible, which we've done for several schools that wouldn't have been able to do it in the traditional way based on, what they were looking at. So I think in terms of people being able to access this training, I think it's been amazing. I think the experienced educators are getting on Zoom is also modeling best practices in instruction, because we're using things like breakout rooms. We're using things like the progress monitoring sheet when we do workshops. We're using things like having teachers work through grids to learn how to do the grid in our virtual trainings. And so we're literally modeling best practices at the same time that we're showing them this new way to teach and engage their students. So it's been really, really exciting. And another piece of this that I believe, I think that our virtual training is actually going to inform and improve our live experience.
Absolutely, yes.
And I'm working really closely with our team right now to kind of take some of those aspects of our remote training that we've been doing the last 3 to 4 months and bring some of those experiences to the live training as well. So I think at the end of this, what comes out of it's going to be better training for everybody, regardless of the situation. And I think that's really, really exciting. I think this has caused us to reevaluate. Teachers have had to reevaluate the way their instructional practices over the last 3 to 6 months and change everything. I think this has helped us do some of those same things and really evaluate, what's important, what can change, what should change, and what we can do to kind of continue to push the envelope and give the best experience possible for every single educator that takes a Teach Better training, whether they're on their couch in their PJs or at their school in a group PD setting. We want to give that best experience. So I think this is, if I wanted to say, it's sort of been a blessing in disguise having to do all these things, because it's really forced us to analyze and look at how do we take our Teach Better work and our training and our development, not just in the grid method, but all of our trainings to this next level. So that's, it's been great. I've really enjoyed it. I also like being able to wear comfortable pants and a nice shirt like I am right now, and no one knows it, even though I just told you. But I'm just throwing that out there. I mean,
so I have a follow-up question, but first I want to address, Jen asked here, Jen Reed, good to see you, by the way, this morning, Jen. They're going to be organized. So Jen, there's ways to sort them. You can sort them by the type of resource, like the category. You can also sort by grade level, and by subject as well. And then you can, also sort by the ratings as they continue to get rating. There's also a way to actually sort them, how they're connected to Common Core. So they're continuing to work on that. So obviously suggestions are always welcome on, hey, we should have more categories. We should have more ways to sort things of that nature. So Alex, good morning, brother. Good to see you. So one more question, then I am going to let you go because you do have to get to a training. And Livia should probably go back to sleep for a little bit after this. So last night I was talking with Caitlin after Master Chat, and one of the things that we talked about, it was actually, I believe it was initiated by a question from Hans Apple, if I remember correctly. But we talked about what's something that what are the things or something that she is going to continue to implement even after we get back to quote unquote normal. So I'm curious, of the stuff that we've had to shift and change and adjust and put in place to do virtual work with teachers, is there anything you kind of touched? It's definitely informative. We've definitely done a lot of change into what our live stuff is now, just based off this. But what's one of the biggest things that you think we're going to keep in place that we sort of put in place because or due to the virtual nature of things that we're going to keep in place when we get back to normal, or that we're already utilizing in that in-person training right now?
Yeah, so
I have my thought of what it is. I'm just curious.
Though. Sure. So there's a few things. One of the biggest things that we've done is kind of practice what we preach in our training in terms of having the people work through a grid to learn how to do the grid. This is something that we've wanted to do for a really long time and just never kind of sat down and made the transition to sort of what the workshop or what the training was going to be or what it could look like in that way. But when we moved virtual, there was no other option for us. I mean, we had this conversation, we sat down and we're like, there's no other way to do this other than create a grid, have people work through it, and then we can progress monitor, we can track their progress and provide the same experience that their students are getting for them. And since we've done this, teachers like it, and there's so many teachable moments in the training because I can go, remember how you feel right now, because your students are going to feel the same way, right? So we can explicitly say, What do you like about this? What is a transition for you? What do you have to get used to doing when in a self-paced environment? But it's also when a teacher comes up and we're in hour 4 of a 6-hour workshop, or we're in the second day and the second half of the day, and they're like, I'm only, I'm just finishing my grid and I haven't started my parent letter and I can go. That's okay. Believe it or not, the creator of the grid method is okay with you working at your own pace, right? Like, and they're like, oh yeah, like I forgot about that. So I can literally model our philosophies to the T within the context of the training. And I think that goes missing a lot from experiences with PD and development, where you're being told one thing, but being shown another or modeled another. And that's really frustrating for teachers. So this is a way for us to go, listen, we practice what we preach, we do what we say. And I'm really, really excited about that.
Awesome. Excited about that. I'm also excited about, obviously what we talked about for the most part was our partner with educationblueprint.org. So shout out to Kelly and Nicole and
they did an amazing
for all
job.
the work they've done. Their entire team over there
recently too.
Yes, they have a lot of updates recently. It's been exciting working with them up to now and continuing to. If you are a grid method user, really encourage you to go to educationblueprint.org. It's a free sign up. Get signed up. Go to get some grids, but also go share your grids. Right, go put your grids up there. Share them so that other people can discover them. Other people can connect you with you on them and can continue to grow with you. So excited about that. Excited for everyone doing this. I see the Alex making jokes. So excited for this whole partnership. Hope you guys go check them out. Give us feedback. Let them know they're still building. They're still wanting to learn. They still want to make it better and better every day. We're trying to do our best to help them. One of the ways you can do that is obviously sharing your grids, but also sharing your feedback. What do you like about it? What do you not like about it? What was hard? What was great about it? What would you like to see on there? And we can continue to help this resource grow for all of us. So appreciate you, Chad. Appreciate you jumping on with me prior to having to go train. Hope you have an awesome day training. Hope you all have an awesome Friday. You're excited about what you got to get up and do today. But I hope you're also getting ready to get into a weekend and get some relaxation time, some recharge time, and do something that you love doing, right? Have some fun this weekend. Spend some time with family or away from family if you need to. Depends on where you're at, right? But enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your Friday. Appreciate you all watching, and we'll see you soon.